Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, chapter 245. Now, from just to start off, the first thing to talk about with this chapter is we get to see from inside of basically Endeavor's hero agency and the inner workings of it, as well as getting introduced to from the four main sidekicks that are gonna play a more than likely a major role in this arc going forward. And already, Bakugo seems to be getting along with the flame-haired lady a little too well, which, considering how both of them have such explosive personalities, I'm not necessarily sure that's a good thing. But if this lady is anything like Bakugo quirk-wise, then she might be the best one she might be the best one. She might be the best one for him to learn from. Like, if this fire hair lady has any level of destructive power like from Endeavor or Bakugo, then yeah, I think she's gonna be I think she's gonna be like probably the one who's gonna be the one to in order to mentor Bakugo, and in order to mentor Bakugo and show him the ropes as to how even with his destructive quirk how he can still use his destructive quirk at its best in order to be a hero, and how to use it in order to save people too. So yeah, I feel that's kind of what's being set up with this lady. Also, I don't know if I'm wrong on this one, but with this pretty much when this fire lady was introduced, did like Bakugo is like she obviously has a lot of female. She obviously has a lot of tendencies where people would compare her to a female Bakugo, but am I the only one who's also getting who's getting a lot of vibes of pretty much Bambietta from Bleach? Like, I don't know why, but that's the one thing that kind of. That's the one thing that really kind of intrigued me about her, is that is that obviously she has a lot of relative traits to Bakugo, but there's just as many things that about her, like just her outfit alone, and just the way she speaks and whatnot, that just remind me a little bit of Bambietta from Bleach. I don't know if I'm the only one in that, but yeah. um Now, now the other character I'm curious about is the guy with the face with his face wrapped in bandages, and I don't want to say that I'm interested in all four of these guys. Don't get me wrong, but that guy with his face wrapped in bandages, that's the guy I'm interested in most of all, because I don't know if Horikoshi was specifically inspired by Doom Patrol when creating these four, but that guy definitely he gave me off a few vibes of the Negative Man, albeit maybe a little bit goofier than Negative Man, but yeah, just looking at these four all together, it kind of makes me wonder how much, if any, inspiration that pretty much Horikoshi had basically taken from the Doom Patrol team with these guys, but yeah, but yeah, I'm curious to see as to what that guy's quirk is going to be. I it would be cool if it was something similar to basically Negative Man, but if I also had to take a guess, I'd say it's probably his quirk is probably something to do where he controls the bandages themselves or something like that. Um, Now, one thing I do like with this setup, that as pointed out, is that Endeavor's agency has a lot of sidekicks compared to most. So now with this setup of them joining his agency, it's kind of forced Izuku and Bakugo in order to actually stand out. Also, in order to stand out a lot more. When you pretty much compare how the setup with basically with interning with Endeavor is gonna go already, compared to like how Best Genius or Night Eye went. The first real test of this internship is definitely going to be response time, and basically how quickly like from Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki can actually respond compared to the other sidekicks. Like with them, like as Bakugo said outright, they're pretty much going to have to steal the spotlight from all the other sidekicks. So and because there are so many sidekicks of Endeavor sidekicks around the city, it's all about it's all about them using quick response time in order to know what exactly is going to get them get them to stand out a lot more. So yeah, I definitely like how the lesson here is definitely a little bit on response time and just and responding before other heroes, almost like and standing out in a way that makes you where you can basically define yourself as the as a legitimate hero, almost, in a way. um and what makes this even better is that in a way uh in a way that in a way in a way that this pretty much also feeds into the reason as to why Endeavor started the three of them off running, but ended up starting off by basically hitting the ground running, and having like Bakugo, Izuku, and Todoroki chase him, because he basically knew. He pretty much knew beforehand that, yeah, the big thing about his agency is basically response time, and basically responding before anyone else can. So yeah, I definitely like this. I like this whole setup right now. Um, and yeah, let's talk about the message that Endeavor had cracked. Which, first off, Hawks, a bit of a low blow, buddy. I think we can, don't get me wrong. In Endeavor, he's maybe not the smartest bulb in the bunch sometimes, but he may not act like the smartest bulb in the bunch. But I think you're giving him I think you're giving him too little credit, dude. Like, seriously. But anyway, yeah. But Endeavor, he managed to crack the code that Hawks left him. And yeah, after this chapter, I'll bet Endeavor is wishing right now that he hadn't cracked Hawks' message, because in 4 months, the League of Villains is going to destroy everything. And first off, this is kind of one of those reveals where I'm not sure if it's opening the doors to a time skip, or if what Horikoshi is doing by saying this is basically signaling to us that pretty much the series might come to an end a little sooner than we think, because this right here, this right here with the 4 months thing, it definitely has the vibe of basically a pretty much end game setup, a basically series end game setup. So because of that, now. Right now, having said that, right now I'm under the assumption of basically if any of these two things is going to happen, it's going to be a time skip, because honestly, when you look at where it started from where we are, there still is more than a couple of loose ends that need to be tied up, at least from now until then. So yeah, I don't think. So basically because the story still has more than a few loose ends to tie up, I think the more logical route is that we're probably going to get a time skip with this 4 month deadline, I think. Although it's a little sooner than I thought, to be honest. It's going to be a little less than what I thought, but yeah. Now, in terms of destroying the world thing, it's definitely now in terms of destroying the world thing, that in itself is definitely giving off the vibes of what I thought is being built up, which is that we basically are headed for it's going to be another dark age of villainy. And with the number of villains that the League has amassed, it definitely supports that. But if the talk of from Shigaraki obtaining his power is anything to go off of, plus that final page when he's taking this, plus that final page, then I think the one thing we can, then I think what Shigaraki is doing here is he's taking this further than his Master All for One. what pretty much Shigaraki's doing is he pretty much just he's basically going all the way compared to his master. With Shigaraki he pretty much just he just doesn't want like a villain supremacy. As he said before, he wants to destroy everything. So with that, it's building up to that dark age villainy, but on top of that, in terms of what Shigaraki's going to do after it happens, I think we're headed for a Thanos-style mass genocide, but instead of half of humanity, it's going to be all of humanity, both heroes and villains. Like, he's basically said it blatantly outright. He wants to kill, he wants to destroy, kill everything, and yeah, that's on some Thanos level shit right there. Like he wants to destroy everything. Villains, heroes, everything. And yeah, it's actually getting to a point where it's actually kind of scary to think of the possibility that Shigaraki can actually push his powers to that extreme. Like if Shigaraki can wake some kind of power in order to destroy everything, then yeah, the hero society is pretty much fucked at that point. But yeah, so aside from that, I actually have to give Hawks credit where it's due for when in order for coming up with that rather ingenious alternative, rather ingenious alternative to continue spying on the League, because as he said, because with him using his wings in order to detect vibrations and hear people talk and whatnot, it allows him to gather information, while at the same time it makes it easier in order for him to remain undercover. Now, don't get me wrong, I still believe that Hawks is a dead man walking. But this does actually kind of throw us for a little bit of the... This does throw us off a little bit, in the sense where, from this point on, when he dies, actually greatly depends on each careful move he makes. From now until then, and figuring out what's going to be the one slip up that pretty much does him in. And I especially and the one thing that especially gave this feeling is that scene in the meeting room, because the atmosphere in that meeting room of him talking with all the leaders of the League and the Liberation Army, that atmosphere, it generally felt like they're pretty much onto him. But what they're doing is they're just waiting for him to make a mistake. So yeah, so from here, while basically Hawks has come up with a rather ingenious way in order to remain inconspicuous, at the same time, from here, at the point in which he dies, it greatly depends on what kind of slip up he makes, what the slip up is that's going to cause his downfall. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.